everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Beach Court Podcast. We have a special guest host joining us this week. Little Dark Fury has come back again. He can never stop yapping with us. So thank you, Little Dark Fury, for joining while Parker is still traveling back from Milwaukee via car. The ancient technology before planes were existed. But, we'll have him back next week. So LDF, thanks for joining in. Maddox is back on the ground. He's back from Milwaukee. And we'll run through all the Milwaukee results. We'll give a full recap of what Maddox and LDF played this weekend, what their thoughts on the deck was, and how it goes forward. For those that don't know, they played Pango. This is now the Pango Pod, not the Beach Court Podcast.
The Pango Pod.
Pango Pod. So we'll talk all about Pango. We also have none other than the winner of the Milwaukee Regional Championships, Crispin Labella, joined us for an interview. So we'll air that interview for you. And you can hear all about Raging Bolt and why he chose to play it, because kind of people were shocked at Raging Bolt won a tournament. And then, of course, we'll wrap it up with Crispin's Corner. We're going to find out who was cooking in Milwaukee. We're excited to see some cool decks. But gentlemen, how was your weekend? How was your travel? What was the weather like? What was the food like? I'm jealous. I was at home. I need to hear everything.
I miss not having you there in Milwaukee, man. I mean, it was a good time. I know, I think, I don't know if I barely ran into at the venue. I know where I always ran into is the 3rd Street Market Hall. Just because, I think that's probably the only spot I ate a meal besides the convention center. But it's
same,
right down the street, you're able to go get plenty of drinks and so many food options. Plus, just everyone's there hanging out. The whole tournament was there anyways. So I was gonna go hang out. So I had a pretty good time. Matt, what did you get up to?
I mean, basically the same thing. I was at the 3rd Street Market the whole time. It was the spot. It was actually, I don't think we've had a regional like this in a while where there's one specific spot near the venue that everyone went to. Because it feels like sometimes there's no places like that. Everyone's all split up after the tournament. But, after day one, literally every Pokemon player was just at this place. And it was pretty cool. There's a lot of food options there. I think every day I was there, I had ice cream. So that was really cool. And I like the food. I like the barbecue they had there. They had a barbecue place, and then they had some hot dog places that I had. Had a burger. They had rice bowls and stuff. Some pretty good food options. So that was nice. I think that was kind of the highlight of Milwaukee. The experience was just being there, to be honest. It was just really cool that it was this big hangout spot that everybody was at. I thought that was kind of sick.
All right, with the cheese curds. You boys get some cheese curds?
Nope.
I regrettably, as much as I talk about making sure the cheese curds squeak, I don't know if they had any at 3rd Street Market. Maybe I missed it. Maybe there are too many options, but I didn't get it.
Maybe.
Quite a fumble.
You guys didn't get cheese curds in Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
I know.
We literally played cheese, too. How did we not do that?
Oh, my God, bro. You guys played the cheese
We're cheesed out. By the end, we were just lactose intolerant or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good... I mean, I remember, it was the same venue as 2 years ago in Milwaukee. And which is funny because, the tournament's... the game's been growing so much, but this tournament was, the same size as it was 2 years ago. Remember
I thought it was 9 rounds. I was surprised. I didn't know it was 8 rounds until the day of. I think after the first round, I found out it was 8 rounds.
You're 1 round to 8 to go to 5-2-1, and it's oh, hey, you're in day 2. Wait, what? I thought another round. No, what was it? Actually, no, you're 5-1-1. You had it. You hit Cape Smart at the end, but you can talk about that.
Yeah.
But I just remember last 2 years ago, there was a lunch break in the middle of Milwaukee. After
I do remember that.
And everyone went to 3rd Street Market Hall, and they had Pokemon deals. Oh, you show off your wristband or your lantern, and you get $2 off. So I remember it was just everyone was there. So
yep.
I got to this time. So
I was there, right?
For that.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
It was a good spot.
The lunch break. I don't remember that.
I remember it. It's funny. I started last time in Milwaukee 301, and then after the lunch break, I literally just lost 3 in a row.
Dang.
But the lunch break curse is real, man. I hate lunch breaks. I think just don't bring them back, Pokemon. Don't bring them back. They ruin the momentum. I swear.
Yeah, I was 3-1 and then lost the next 2.
Yep.
That brings up an interesting point, LDF, because they're trying to go to the asynchronous matches at some point, probably. Like Japan does. What kind of take would you do for that kind of if we had asynchronous matches? What would you do? You just said you don't want a lunch break. Would you just play pair play, just grind 9 in a row? How would you approach that situation? Because I know you haven't been on here talking about that.
I mean, I think the idea is kind of cool. It's nice when it flows really well. Milwaukee ended really quickly. Day 1 ended at not even 7 or something. It was crazy. It ended so early.
Dang.
It was run very smooth. I mean, the idea is cool. I probably would try to grind out 9 rounds if I can, obviously. Or if I'm on a deck with a bunch of my buddies, after every round we kind of sit down and talk about the list a little bit more in the run, and then we just queue up another match. So something like that would be really cool. I wouldn't mind that either. Because yeah, Milwaukee was run really smoothly. It ended really early on day 1. Day 2 ended like all rounds were done by like 2 p.m., which is really cool. So yeah, it was a great run. It was run really well. Smooth tournament. That idea would be nice. Wouldn't hate it either. But it was nice having no lunch break, anything like that. We haven't
Yeah.
had a lunch break in a long time, but
Yeah, we
I
haven't,
def
and I think it's great.
yeah, they just need to stop bringing that back. I get the idea, but like usually you're gonna have one game out of like your first like 5 or 6 rounds where you should have enough time to get food anyways. It's gonna
Yeah, I
happen
mean,
where you
like
have a
even
game
when you're
anyway.
playing Snorlax, like someone's just gonna auto scoop to you, like
Yeah,
whatever, right?
yeah, exactly.
Anyways, before we jump into the full Milwaukee recap and the deck you guys played, we had a really big announcement this week, and we have to mention it. We
Yep.
got we got our world set was announced, and when I say set, what I meant to say was our sets. We got 2 sets announced for Worlds: Black Bolt and White Flare. Kind of throwing it back to the black and white days. This is the first time the Pokemon Company International has ever done 2 sets at once, and they're both releasing on July 18th. I need some instant reactions. What are you guys thinking about these 2 sets?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I got into the game like in the late Diamond and Pearl era, but I do vividly remember the Black and White era vividly. Like it was like probably pre-EXs. It was like really good, and then obviously like Mewtwo came out and stuff. It changed a bit, but Black and White era is I'm really nostalgic for it. Also part of like the legacy format on PCGO. But I'm excited. I've already seen that they reprinted some old cards from that era, which is really cool. And I was actually talking to Jake Gearhart this past weekend about other cards that could be reprinting from the Black and White era. So I'm really excited to see what else they bring back. 'Cause what we've seen already, it's like Embor, Electric, there's a Victini, Prism Energy got reprinted, Air Balloon got reprinted. I think that's because they don't want to bring back Floatstone, which also came out during that era. That's probably their way of not bringing that back. But I'm excited to see what else gets reprinted.
I'm so happy Floatstone didn't get reprinted. That card would be
That card's broken. Yeah, it's a little too good.
Yeah.
Air Balloon's a good middle ground for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
And pretty good for like the Gholdengos of the world and Zoroarks,
Yeah.
like the 2, retreat cost folks. So quick way to move them under item lock.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
excited for it. I'm like the Pokemon Black and White games, like video games, are probably one of my favorite, just because I've been playing for so long and being able to like enter to a new region and have like full new 151 for the first time again was just like such a cool experience. So I'm very nostalgic for that area. Got a couple good favorites from there, and I'm excited that there's so many. I mean, I'm excited, but also not excited. There's so many like cool collector cards from there because it's like, oh, they're doing more Pokeball, Master Ball, and illustration rares for everything.
156 rare IRs. That's IRs.
Yeah,
Crazy.
which like as a person who likes pretty Pokemon cards, it's really cool. As a person who like might try to acquire those pretty Pokemon cards, it's very hard if everyone else is also trying to get them. So
Yeah.
And that's coming off of Destined Rivals too.
Right.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, the special sets are always harder to get too, because like there's no booster boxes, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, only
there's a little part
ETBs.
there's a little part of me who's nervous about just like, okay, can I find all the cards I need like
For
before
Worlds.
Worlds
Yeah.
and like
That
to
is
test them,
fair.
like to be able to know about them and like. And also, that's a lot of cards to put out before Worlds too.
I mean, just
like,
think about last year where like how Shrine of Fable was like, I gotta find my Fez, gotta get my Fez. Right.
Yeah, but even
like,
then, Fez was like, there's like 80, 70 cards in the set. Like, there wasn't that much. It was like, okay, Night Stretcher, Fez, Dusknoir, Kyurem, like, we're the ones to watch out for. But like, if they're dropping 156 just Pokemon, now I'm gonna add trainers. I'm like, what new combinations could be there?
yeah.
Might be time for Miraidon to come back though with Dynamotor Electric.
Yes, sir.
Yep, that definitely looks
Electric
pretty
is
good.
back, baby. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what happens with that set for Worlds. Did you guys see Pokemon's post like in UK where they like highlighted the N in the word? I don't know the exact phrase they said, but they kind of referenced that maybe N is coming back.
That'd be wild. N and Iona in the same format. That'd be
could you
nuts.
That'd be
imagine
too
that?
nuts.
That'd
Never
be
say never.
Crazy.
Maybe they'll bring back N's Resolve or something.
Like, hey, everybody brought back N. This is a Resolve. I think like I don't know. I think it is a fine. We don't need them both to exist right now.
That would be a little egregious. Holy moly!
If they're gonna put N back, like, maybe it's like as soon as G Block rotates.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, like the way that things are going, where like Research, Boss, and Iona and Arbin are like all gonna rotate. There's like no viable replacements for those yet. I think that could like be a really good
I'm
format.
curious to see if we get Boss in that set, like an eye block Boss.
Now we got Alicia's Appeal. Don't worry about it.
We got Alicia and Prime Catcher, and then we got Giovanni Boss for Team Rocket.
Yeah.
They want Team Rocket to be good, man. So there you go.
They do, yeah, they do. Anyways, that's enough for you to talk about Black and White. We'll get to that as that set comes. Everyone's here to hear about your guys' run in Milwaukee. I think both of you finished top 128. LDF, did you finish top 128, right? Yeah.
I got 158th.
158th. Okay, so you both made day 2 with Pengo, Gholdengo. Each of your lists are a little bit different. So, Maddox, why don't you kick us off? What made you decide to play this deck to Milwaukee and the specific list you chose?
Yeah, definitely. So, I've been a big Gholdengo fan for a while. Kind of always wanted it to be good. I think now is probably some of the best like Gholdengo has ever been, like since EOIC. At least so right with Xander Bro, who we had interviewed on the pod as well with his Gholdengo run. So I've kind of been enjoying the deck as a side, like as kind of a side enjoyment since then. Had a good February for me, played Raging Bolt to Atlanta and wasn't quite so happy with it. Maybe I should have stuck with it a little bit more, but you can hear more from Christian Labella in a little bit. But again, Gholdengo is a deck that I've wanted to enjoy, or that I've been enjoying and wanted to play. And right after Atlanta, I saw a cool list from Tord's Kitchen about the Gholdengo Dragapult, and the idea was really leaning into the heavy draw power of Recon Directive and playing like a full 4-4-2 Dragapult line, plus more of the energies to attack them, like really leaning into the power of Dragapult as an attacker a little bit more than other builds were. So locked in with Gholdengo a little bit early. Caleb and Grand Shen did very well with it in the Monterey, so I was a little bit nervous about people being a little more ready for it. But at that point, stuck to the process and stuck with it. Again, my list is a little bit different than what their group had been playing, or closer to what LDF has played. My list featured again that 4-4-2 Cloak line and the 2 Dragapults, no ciphers. But
you didn't. Yeah,
3 Iono. I'm just like a lot of ways just like constantly disrupt. So I know that I was high on this list a lot, and I think reactions I got from LDF as well as many others were like, "Oh, that's interesting." So, but LDF, I didn't quite believe that philosophy. You actually went a little more hybrid, maybe a little greedy, but a little bit some good spice to win some matchups. So tell us about your Pengo variant.
Yeah, so I was playing like the Grand Shen Pengo build with the Genesect and the Vengeful Punch, and I also kept like a very thin Dragapult line, 2-2-1 Dragapult. I wasn't even gonna play Bolt Pengo before the tournament. Like I was very much thinking about just Archaldon Zork. That's what me and my friend Sashi were gonna play. But honestly, like the night before, I was not feeling that Zork deck at all. It relies a little bit heavily on Precious Trolley. You get Budded and you prize it, or just I don't know. Like it just felt like the deck wasn't consistent enough to work. It didn't seem like a bad deck for this meta. Honestly, I'm kind of glad I didn't play it, or maybe I would have played it after all, because like I had a lot of Terra Box and stuff. I had 1 Dragapult throughout the entire tournament, so it was kind of a crazy run for me. But like literally before I went to bed, like I'm like I gotta decide what I gotta play tomorrow, man, and I just like locked in Gholdengo. I just was like, I'm just gonna keep the Genesect in for the mirror. No Baby Dango. I think Baby Dango is kind of bad, to be honest. And I like the Dragapult a lot. I was originally gonna play an Iron Bundle in the deck, but I just cut it. Couldn't find room for it. I got a little greedy with my build. I did cut a Ultra Ball and a TM Evo, so I squeezed in a second Earthen Vessel and a Jamming Tower, and I put a 12th energy in the deck. I just can't play Gholdengo with 11 energy, man. It just doesn't feel right. I think 12 energy feels so good right now, especially versus Genesect. And then having the Genesect and the double vessel means that if I'm playing against a deck with Genesect, which I expected to randomly hit people with random Genesects in their deck, and I was fairly right this weekend. I hit like 3 or 4 decks this weekend that had a Genesect in it. So having the ability to just have double vessel and my own Genesect means I can't get stamped out of the game. And then I have 2 vessels. I own it a 5. Surely will be enough resources with 2 vessels to get, the energy needed to take a knockout. And then from there, your deck kind of just flows with the superior energy retrievals. The 60 felt good. There were a few moments where I wish I had the second Ultra Ball or TM Evo, obviously, but it was like fine. The deck did what it was supposed to do. Dragapult was a good attacker. I used it a few times against Mirror, used it against Joltik Box this weekend, and Terra Box came up a couple times there. It was a pretty good card overall. Didn't always use Dragapult. Like Gholdengo usually carries, but the option to just randomly attach to a Dracloak and then later on in the game have the threat of a Dragapult is pretty sick. So I like the 60. I think if I was going to Portland, I'd play it again, and I probably would consider the second team Evo. But yeah, felt good. I liked the list a lot, and yeah, I'm glad I made day 2 with it.
Yeah, probably.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say. I mean, like, I'm glad you're attacking the Dragapult too. I mean, the biggest thing that like I heard questions about was like, okay, well, how much are you actually attacking the Dragapult? You have so much committed to it. I mean, honestly, I was thinking back, like, of like my 12 like game sets that I played, like I probably used it in like 8 or 9 of the sets. I mean, like, there's just so many times where it was even like, I guess a Raging Bolt. I'm like, okay, I'm down bad. I'm like, all right, Vault the Dragapult, I order 1, counter catcher smack, boss smack, and then win the next turn, right? I mean, like, just some like really good scenarios there. Yeah, tech cutting the second Evo would be like a tough move for me. But also, I
Yeah.
get you need a vengeful punch because you're playing the Genesect. But also, I think my build like maybe requires the Evo more because there are so many times that I would go like Evo into 2 Dracloaks, and then I would like the next turn I would just go like Evo into 2 more Dracloaks. So like when you set up ridiculous boards like that, it was like, hey, this works.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how does your deck feel in the mirror? Because you don't have the baby Dango, but I guess like the mirror for you is like you can set up a dragon headbutt, take the first prize,
Yeah, I
or
mean, so it's
phantom
funny.
dive.
I hadn't hit any mirrors like all throughout day one, and I hit 3 of my 4
Mm-hmm.
rounds in day 2 were mirrors.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
so it was actually funny. Like so I entered a 5-2 once, and like my round 9 opponent didn't really know the mirror, so they like went in Gholdengo attack, and I'm like, all right, E-Search Pro, just like go pop off, and then but the whole time I'd been like kind of prepping on my side, like power up, just like prepare for a dragon headbutt. So
Mm-hmm.
he like adjusted to that, and then like copied my strategy in the second game, and like started doing that. I think eventually kind of had a spot where like he didn't have enough draw or like had to put a Gholdengo into play. I was able to get ahead from there. So, but I think my deck, the benefit is I can a little more reliably like start a Jaripi and
Mm-hmm.
like get the Dragon Headbutt because I'm playing like more outs to those energies. Definitely have a hard time into like mirror if they play Genesect. My
Yeah.
round 10 opponent actually played the Genesect, but I did not see it all game until like halfway through the second game where I was like, he superior away. I was like, wait, you're playing Genesect? Because like there are so many times like if he had like, I mean he pulled off a turn where he went like Iono me to 4, and then he got E-Search Pro off of his own Iono and then was able to blow me up there. I'm like, if he had like Genesect with that too, like I'd totally lose that set.
Mm-hmm.
And I also played against Caleb Rogerson for the win into cash around 12. He got me there, but I mean I felt like my deck in theory is a little better like prepared into it because I can set up like a better single prize draw. But,
Yeah.
I think it's really just like I can more consistently get to the Dragon Headbutt. But at the same time, like it didn't work all the time, right? After the first 2 games, I was like, oh, this works perfectly. And then I lost to Caleb, and I was like, maybe it's not that robust. So he could protect his deck a little more with like Cypher. So like my own
Yeah.
plays at the end of the game, he's just like, yeah, I just Cypher stack, superior Cypher. And I'm like, I can't really do anything about that.
Yep. Yep. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pango's in a decent spot in the middle right now. It's nice having additional draw on board that is single prize draw, especially for those late game Ionos. I'm looking, Matthew, over your kind of run. You went 5-1, 5-2-1, but you were 5-1-1 going in around 8 when you hit Gabe Smart on the hands box. Right, seems
Yep.
like somewhat of a favorable matchup for
I think
Gholdengo.
it's 50. Yeah, 50-50. Even
Yeah,
with the
I mean,
vengeful punch, we made it to game
oh, it's the
3.
Pikachu. Yeah, the Pikachu is
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah, we made it to game 3, and he Iono me to 2, and his active was Blood Moon or Saluna, and I had double Dango Fez Dracloak on board, and I drew Arvin Artisan, and then I top decked Ultra Ball. So I like shuffled my deck because he did Iono a lot of cards at the bottom, but I drew all those cards and I just didn't pull off the knockout to win, which was
Yeah,
pretty annoying. I was like kind of mad about that. I was like, really? I drew that many cards? I whiffed? Come on.
yeah,
I had extra outs. If I drew like an energy or a vessel, if I had 2 energy in the deck too, I could have probably won. I maybe could have played my last turn a bit differently going into that. But yeah, I was like, there's no way I whip this, right? I'm doing so much. I can shuffle the deck here. I have an Arvin already in hand that I drew off of Fez, so I had like pretty good odds. And it turns out the next card was gonna be the Cypher Maniac. So unfortunate loss
dang,
there.
yeah,
Also
Yeah, we
I
sequence
also
because it's
saw,
correct, not because it always works, right? That's just
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like sometimes you get it, sometimes like you do everything right. And it's like, all right, I did a low percentage miss. That happens.
yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
also saw you pair against our boy Andrew Reinhardt round 2,
Mm-hmm.
Charizard Pidgeot. I mean, what were you thinking when you hit a Charizard deck? You're like, what the heck, bro? What's going on here?
I was like kind of scared. Not well, I was like scared, but I was like, I mean, this matchup's not that bad anymore. He didn't play the Dusknoir, but he also
Like
like there's
you.
no there's no Radzard though. So like I was like, this matchup's probably fine. I think if I take first 2 prizes, I probably just win. He played pretty well game 1. I was trying to bait him into attacking Gholdengo so that I can Monkey Dory his Cleffa or Buddy we had on board. So I was trying to get 2 prize KO that way because I wanted to play around the potential Shiyu play if I whiffed Gust. He won game 1 because he had Briar, and I didn't expect there was a Briar in the deck, or I just didn't think of it. And then game 2, I squeaked out a win, and then we just tied. I would say that's an
Yeah,
unfavorable matchup the more I thought about it. I mean, he had Budu and Shiyu, which is like kind of annoying to deal with because I had to like preemptively play around the Budu he had, and I had to play around Shiyu. Like it was not easy. And like in
yeah,
game 1, I was trying to build up my Dragapult, and every time I would attach a Dracloak, bro just had the boss. He didn't even. I think he took a couple turns to get a Pidgeot out. He just had the gust every time. I'm like, bros, what? He had boss in hand in the following turn. He established Pidgeot and then gusted my other Dracloak. I'm like, bro, you gotta let me get a Dragapult down, man. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was fine. I had a scary matchup. I think the matchup's worse. They have Dusknoir. They can offset
Yeah.
the prize trade really easily if you play slow, and then they can like set up a play with like they can one shot your Dengo with Dusclops, because you go 210 and then 50, that's 260. They could like take out multiple gimmies with the Dusknoirs. So I'm glad he wasn't playing Ghosts. It made it a bit easier to manage, but it was still kind of tough because he had like Shiyu and Badu, which like kind of annoying, a little annoying.
Yeah. That's your guys' runs, but let's review the rest of Milwaukee. I'm gonna start sharing my screen. For those of you that are listening on Spotify and Google and Apple, thank you so much. But come on over to YouTube. I'm sharing my screen. I run through the limitless results. So looking at the day one meta, Dragapult EX did come in as the most popular deck again at 16.3%. And Gardevoir shot all the way up to second at 12.5%. We did talk about that. Maddox, you want to run through our predictions of what we had cooking last episode?
Yeah, I mean, I know the main thing we were talking about is, could Gardevoir shoot ahead of Dragapult? And the answer was no. It was second on the graph here. I do think what's also like worth noting is, they did separate out the two Gholdengo variants. So Gholdengo and the Gholdengo straight Gholdengo and Gholdengo to Dunsparce is 8.7. Gholdengo Dragapult was 6.3. So put those together, I mean, 15% of players played a Gholdengo variant, which I think like that's pretty relevant. And I mean, honestly, like that's a lot of Gholdengo. So
honestly, going into this tournament, I knew Gholdengo was going to be the second most played deck. I didn't think it would be 15%, but I thought it was going to be like 11% of players on Gholdengo. I thought Dragapult was going to break 20+%. I was surprised to only see 16, but I'm not surprised to see Gholdengo be the second most played deck for sure. I saw that coming.
19 that combined, so
that's yeah.
So
I mean, I guess
too.
if you count the other Dragapult like Gholdengo decks, also as Dragapult, that's like 23% of players on it. I guess.
think this just doesn't include Dusknoir, right?
No, I think that Dragapult list probably just has like Dragapult plus I mean, maybe like
it's got the
Dragapult, Charizard, probably.
Yeah.
There's like a few
true,
other percentage points of like other Dragapult variants that make up the piece there.
And almost 15% Gholdengo if you combine the twos. It's a lot.
Yeah. I knew Cheese was gonna be popular. Because like going in the tournament, I was like, I don't want to lose to Mirror.
You gotta play Cheese.
Yeah, exactly. I knew people were just gonna play because it's like Gholdengo's fun to play. Like a lot of people just don't like stressing out about Gardevoir and Dragapult. But Gholdengo is like super straightforward. Like it is, there's a lot of skill involved. Like I think a really good Gholdengo player really does separate themselves from a bad Gholdengo player or a mediocre one. But it is like a very like easy deck to make day two with, in my opinion.
Yeah, speaking of easy deck right now, the next deck on the list, 11.5% is the Joltik Miraidon deck. Getting a lot of hate that it's like just an easy deck, and some notable players, aka Jake here, are saying like that it's just like too easy, and that Miraidon, Iron Hand specifically, needs to be banned or something. What are your guys' thoughts on this Joltik deck running around, and what do you feel about it in the meta right now?
Yeah, I think the first thing with this deck is, yes, it has a linear game plan. It says I'm going to take two prizes with my attacker of choice, Pikachu EX or Iron Hands EX. But also like right now, I mean, especially like for this past weekend, like you cannot deny the win rate, right? People can say anything they want about this deck, but at the end of the game, like this deck just wins games, and it wins games a lot more than other decks do, right?
Very
I mean,
true.
when considering like tie rates, this deck's still ending up at over 50% win rate. Good into Gardevoir and Dragapult, and other decks have a hard time answering it. Again, like maybe people don't like it or don't want to play it, but at the end of the day, if a deck gets wins and people can, and it's accessible and people can play it and win with it, then why would you not play it and win with it?
It's funny you say that. I want to pull up a certain someone's run. Where is he? Hold on, let me find him. Poor Henry Chow had to run the gauntlet on day 2. Pikachu.
Oh no! And then lost to our boy LDF.
And then lost to LDF at the end. So poor Henry Chow. I know he's probably feeling it just like Jake Gearhart might be right now. But yeah, Raging Bolt all the way down here in 5th place, but did end up taking the win. With Raging Bolt, and looking at our day 2 conversion rates, Dragapult converted positively. Joltik jumped up big time to 16.3%. Gardevoir was positive. Gholdengo dropped a little bit under each category. and then Raging Bolt kind of held its own, just dropping 0.3%, and eventually taking down the win. But, what stood out to you guys for this meta, and where do you think the meta's going, going forward?
I mean, I think we're probably going to see Raging Bolt spike for Portland. I wouldn't be surprised if it went from like the 7% to like 10+% going into Portland. It has a really good matchup against Dragapult. Like maybe honestly, out of every deck except for Gholdengo, it probably has the best Dragapult matchup because you can spam the baby Bolt. You can use Pheasantipity too. So you can just aggressively snipe their Jack Cloaks. They never get a Dragapult out. And then even if they do, you just blow them with Raging Bolt. The Guardy matchup isn't bad either, from what I've been told and what I saw. Christian did 2-0 Tonneson in top 8. So the deck, like, it's not bad in a Guardy. Like, it's not as bad as it used to be in a Gardevoir. Like, before, Raging Bolt had an abysmal Guardy matchup. But now the matchup is, like, even easier in this meta. And then it has a really good matchup against Gholdengo and Miraidon, too. The Joltik box deck struggles against Raging Bolt because they have Slitherwing, so you can't really use Pikachu very well. And the Gholdengo matchup is easy because you no longer have to take a prize with like Raging Bolt. You can just Fan Rotom, KO Gimmighoul, and they have usually no way to take 2 prizes, and then you should easily just chain the 2/2 prize race from there. So the deck is really powerful. Or even like you could just go like Fan Rotom Judge Knockout, kill the Gholdengo and be like, all right, you have to sack Gholdengo, Cypher, E-Search Pro, Counter Catcher, good luck. Yeah, the Raging Bolt deck I think is very powerful. Most likely going to be a top 3 deck going forward. I don't know if it's better than Gholdengo overall. Gholdengo does have an easier time into Guardian Dragapult. Raging Bolt is a bit more like non-linear, or like there's more lines you have to take with like Noctowl and stuff. But I think Raging Bolt is now like a top 5 deck in the format. If it wasn't before, it definitely is now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact, like Raging Bolt is just that good right now. The baby, like the way the meta is set up so slow, Raging Bolt being able to like just really, really capitalize on, you're playing Dragapult and you're gonna sit back behind your cloaks, and I'm just gonna go and like sign your clokes or your Curlias over and over. I mean,
yeah.
One thing I did actually notice with the conversion, my first time seeing the day 2 conversion numbers, since it had the the Gholdengo variant separated out, Gholdengo Dragapult was the one that actually converted positively, while the generic Gholdengo did not convert as positively. So
yeah, I'm not surprised about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the Dango Dunsparce deck is cool. I tried a little bit of it. Going in the tournament, because I'm like, maybe I'll play like Gholdengo to Dunsparce, so like a Scizor, because Scizor's kind of cute against Mirror and it's good against Terrabox and Pikachu. But I was like, the Dunsparce feels really mid. Like it's just you have to constantly recycle it into play, which is like annoying. Sometimes it messes up your game plan. And if you get Iono'd and you don't have a Dunsparce down, your deck kind of sucks. The Dunsparce feels like okay, but I think Dragapult overall is stronger because I'd rather have a Recon Directive than a runaway draw, if that makes any sense.
Exactly. It's like that late game draw that remains on board.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I found too. I think like all the, I think a lot of the, like the people who were playing Gholdengo, that were doing well with it, we're all playing the Dragapult variant for the most part.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really strange that a Recon Directive is better than a Gholdengo on the bench. It's like you're seeing 2 cards instead of 1.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you might want both, but I think most of the time you're just looking for that one superior. So, I could see it being a little bit better. Looking at the rest of the results here on Limitless, we got some cool decks in day 2. We got a Gouging Fire, an Okidogi, Slacking. We got some Roaring Moon to Dunsparce pop up.
Oh, well, Aiden Koos, 17th place with the Roaring Moon to Dunsparce. His list isn't actually even here because it's not flagged because it's flagged as other, because he only played one Roaring Moon, but he played like the neutralization zone, so he's down there in the other category. Yeah. Or if you just check 17th on the main standings, but
yeah.
Actually, it was funny. I was playing. I got a chance to play against Aiden Koos some on Friday. He was just looking for some folks to get.
This is Ancient Box.
Oh no, it's Roaring Moon to Dunsparce.
No, this is Ancient Box.
No, it's Roaring Moon to Dunsparce. It's the same deck.
It's got Explorer's Guidance. It's Ancient Box.
But so do the other Moon deck. What do you mean?
No.
Yeah, I mean it kind of is Ancient Box, but not really. It doesn't have like 4 Flutter. I mean, you can play like an Ancient Box deck. I don't know. I don't know. It's like kind of like a mix of the two. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Basically, my point is, I was playing against him on Friday.
Yeah.
He was kind of cooking me with it. I was playing the Grand Shen, Caleb Ryderson, Gholdengo. I wasn't doing very well. I did manage to get a game off him with Conkeldurr, so I was pretty proud of that.
Nice.
But I was playing Conkeldurr into his Roaring Moon pile. But I mean, again, he believed in the deck when no one else did. Unfortunately, bubbled out of top 16, but
I think the deck is.
that's a
I
big
think the deck's
standout deck,
really
I think.
good. I think honestly, that was a deck like going to the tournament. I was thinking a little bit about if I put more time into it, I maybe would have considered it. The two decks I kind of wanted to play that I thought was like if I put more time in these decks and learn them before the tournament, I would have considered them. The Moon Dunsparce deck was one of them. And the other one I think was Flareon. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think Moon Dunsparce, it's not a bad deck. Like I think it was
problem
good.
with Flareon, I don't think Flareon just has that good of a Gardevoir matchup.
Yeah,
I played the
yeah.
deck and like as soon as a Gardevoir hits the field, like you just lose, man. Like there's nothing you can do to beat
I mean,
it.
yeah, you have Sylveon. You just set up two
Yeah,
Sylveon,
I mean
right?
you gotta hope to like you gotta set up two Sylveons. You gotta hope to, like once they attack, like that
It's
turn
not
specifically, you
great,
have
but
like boss, or counter catch your Iono Sylveon. But
yeah.
that's still great.
I don't know.
Um,
I think you can win games off of Angel Lake Cope. But yeah, I get your point. Like Flareon's like it's cool. It actually has a good matchup spread apart from like maybe a shaky Guardian
I
matchup.
mean,
I think it
it's just
actually
great to like auto Gholdengo if it's going to be 15%, right? I mean,
yeah,
like
it beats
that deck
Gholdengo. Yeah.
autos Gholdengo.
Yeah. And
Um,
I think if you know what you're doing, you should also be able to beat Dragapult pretty easily.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Next,
I played against a Flareon on my run to go to 5-0, and I won, but like I had to play absolutely out of my mind for it.
Yeah, it's a tough
Eventually,
matchup.
like I mean, it was like so scuffed. It literally was just like, all right, Iono Lake, like shove a Dragapult and just like somehow manage. So, but like
Yeah.
it's so bad. They can just prior.
yeah,
And
but
then
you got
the
three
prior straight thing
Ionos, so
prior.
that's you definitely had
Exactly.
a better time.
Yeah,
You
I
have
a little bit
you have a way better advantage. All my games against the Terra decks this weekend were like it did come down to me playing an Iono, but having one Iono felt bad. I definitely felt the loss of not having two Iono. So I think if I wanted to beat Terra Box and Guardian and Flareon more consistently, I would have probably wanted to run your build Maddox over my build because the one Iono felt kind of jank. I'd have the constantly ciphered into my hand, or I had the prey that I draw into it off of like multiple coin bonuses and then have it for when I need it.
Yeah, the Ionos are nice, but like the problem is you just don't have like the cipher to like you can't ever be like okay cipher for counter catch or research pro. It's just gonna be like okay, how do I find one of those or like figure it out later. So like that makes it kind of tricky, but I do think I actually made this comment to Caleb after our game, and I was like, I think not having to play cipher and just never having like micro decision, like am I drawing one off the cipher, am I drawing two off the cipher, what am I stacking, and just saying like I'm just gonna hit Iono and then just see the rest of my deck. Like I think that did help like decision
That's
making.
pretty funny, actually.
Like
Yeah.
throughout the game, which is like,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of valid. It's like, okay, I'll add myself to 2, but I have double Gholdengo, Fez draw, +3 cloaks, and it's like, I hit what I needed.
Yeah. 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 So let's talk about this deck here that I have on the screen. 32nd place, $1,000 winning deck. Just a straight Charizard deck. There's no
The
Pidgeot.
1K deck.
Yeah, this is John Roberts, so
yeah, this is John Roberts. He's back. I think he hasn't played in a while.
Yeah, he's a very very old
straightforward
school
Charizard
player.
deck. I mean,
yeah.
what do we think about Charizard? We've been saying like, if someone can figure out Charizard, it's gonna be good, right? Because like, there's some decks in the format like Joltik, right? Can't really deal with the Charizard. There's so many things that can't deal with this. We got a 4-4-2 Dusknoir line, a 4-3-3 Charizard line, just like straight gas and consistency. What do you guys think about this Charizard deck, and does it have legs in this format?
I mean, probably. The best way to play Charizard was obviously Dragapult Charizard. I think that deck's like fine. As my friend Jackson Forrest said it best, it's a good day 1 deck, but it's a bad day 2 deck. But I think like if you're gonna play Charizard by itself, I think you have to kind of lean more into like this idea of Dusknoir. I really wanted to make Terapagos Charizard work. That was a deck that I wanted to play to Atlanta at the start of the format, but unfortunately Dragapult got way too popular and I had to ditch that deck immediately. But I thought that deck was probably gonna be BDIF if Dragapult wasn't like so dominant. So I'm like, Charizard's just kind of mediocre. Like if you're gonna play it, you might have to play with Dragapult. This more like straightforward approach of like just 4 ghosts, like very heavy Zard count, 2 Shiyu, probably seems like the best way to play Charizard right now. Also like Ghost Charizard is a really good combo. You can board wipe your opponent while also doing a bunch of damage with Burning Darkness. So I would assume this is better in a Dragapult than like other Charizard variants.
Yeah, I really like this deck. Played a game or 2 of it on the ladder, and like just the fact that again, you're very reliant on like getting Brawly out, but other than that, it's like I'm gonna Iono my basics or like the pieces I need. Again, like just plays thick enough lines so you can find these pieces. I think like these no engine decks are very scary because there's no Fez, there's no Pidgeot, there's no Noctowl. I mean, it's just like, all right, you can Iono, and it's like, do you have it, right? It's like, I think, but Charizard is one of those decks where if you can just get 2 Charizards into play, then like sometimes that is just enough to win the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the point of this deck is that you're not really trying to like build up a board where like you have like Pidgeot and like Fez on board where you're like never whiffing Gust. I think it's just more like you're just trying to like nuke your opponent's board with Dusknoir and then make your opponent have to deal with Charizard swinging for main like big damage. And then you can just kind of like you can make your board really big where it's just two Charizard, nothing else. You don't need, all this other fluff in play like Fez or something or like Pidgeot. Because whenever I play Zard, usually now it like games, are a lot more losable when your opponent just can boss your Fez or Pidgeot for game. But when your board is
Yeah.
just double Charizard after you just went like Dusknoir 3 times, your opponent can't deal with it. It's pretty scary.
It's like Dusknoir, Iota to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, can you take out 2 Charizards before I take, the last couple prizes? Probably not. And then the bundle, I'm assuming that's why there's a bundle in the deck. Because like in the late game, you can just go like pop bundle and Burning Darkness.
The problem is like you can only find bundle with one of your 2 Ultra Balls or your Brock Scouting. Like that it is, or Trolley. I mean, like,
yeah,
I like some of the pieces here.
True.
But, like,
I could see an Artisan.
Is, like, tricky. I almost wonder if you like Trolley for bundle against a Badoo deck. And, like, get it going early, so we can go like bundle and then like Dusclops KO the Badoo. I don't know if you're doing that, but like,
I mean, the combustion attack KOing a Badoo is great.
It's not bad actually. That's why, 3 Charmeleon.
Definitely why you played it. Yeah.
I could see maybe like a Charmeleon getting cut for like a Artisan or something, so you can loop bundle.
Yeah.
I think like the idea of the deck, it's kind of like a reverse Dragapult deck. You just sit there and Itchy Pollen and then build up this board with Ghosts. Then you just blow them up with Ghosts. Instead of Phantom Dive Ghosting, you just go Ghosts and then you come in with Charizard. So it's kind of the same logic as Pulsar, I guess. Or Poltnor.
Yeah, I mean, as we wrap up our Milwaukee conversation here, we'd be terrible if we didn't talk about the top results here.
Yeah.
So, Christian Labella, his interview will be coming up next. He did take it down with Raging Bolt. We saw a lot of Dragapult in top cut. We had a 14-player ASIM cut. I think probably our biggest ASIM cut ever. It was actually at 29 match points, not 30. And I thought that was pretty interesting for a bigger tournament. But got a couple Zoroarks, got a Flareon, got a couple Gardevoirs, and 1 Joltik box. I mean, what stands out to you for this top, this ASIM cut, this top 14 cut? Is there anything like crazy? I mean, 2 Zoroark is kind of big,
I was gonna say, the end Zoroark deck is probably the biggest surprise. I wasn't surprised to see all the Dusknoirs and Guardies and Raging Bolt, Joltik, like stuff like that. But yeah, the end Zoroark deck 2 in ASIM is kind of crazy. But I think it's like the same build.
I mean, and we do have to call out. I mean, like Gardevoir did not win another major, right? It won 4 in a row. Got stopped in top 8. But again, I think the big standout, we saw Zoroark show up in Seville the weekend before, but then now we saw a lot of players, including Zoroark EX as their choice. And he even saw 3 Zoroark in top 16. So good deck for the event. I think they were ready for it. Lucas Zing brought a spicy list. I think that Liam Halliburton cooked up. Evan Pletsky, Pletsky. I forget if it was the same build or not, but he's the reigning seniors world champion. Sorry, this is his first event in the Masters division since aging up, and showed up in a big way. So Eric's gone through all the highlight cards, right? I mean, some of the big standouts. I mean, so the Lucas Zing build played 4 copies of Serrano, and if you don't know what Serrano does, then that makes sense because you're a normal person. But for everyone who knows the game too well, Serrano lets you search your deck for up to 3 Pokemon EXs, reveal to put them in your hand. So lets you find your Zoroark EXs, but also lets you find your one-of copy of Bombardier EX. A bit of a joke card that we've seen before, but I think found a good use here of being able to go in and use its fast carrier attack, search your deck for 3 basic Pokemon, put on their bench. Good way to find your Darumaka's, which only have 80 HP, plus like your Monkey Door, your Reshiram, or whatever you want. Because this deck does not play any Nest Balls or any Ultra Balls. You're only finding Pokemon through Serrano or fast carrier.
Yeah.
How are you getting the fast carry turn? I don't think you are ever.
Well, you have Cyrano.
Going first.
I mean, on your first turn going, you're not meant to get into it on your first turn going first. I think it's your first turn going second. You have ways to get into it. Or
you can still use the attack even if you go second. Oh, I see.
Yeah, exactly.
I see.
So, it's cool.
So like if you open like Badoo or Cleffa, you can go Serrano, retreat into Bombardier and attach with it. Or if you open an Ends Pokemon and Ends Castle, you can retreat into it, things like that.
Looks like they were going second with this list. Had to be, right? Well, there's no way this is going first.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably go first or second.
I don't know. You're not finding any Pokemon if you go first with this list.
Yeah, but like Zork likes to play from behind anyways, right? You don't want to just aggressively like bum rush your opponent. You want to
Right.
you
I'll
want to
play
use
right in a
reversal.
second. Yeah.
Yeah.
And double counter
Yeah.
catcher is a notable inclusion. Did include the Defiance Band and the Power Glass, more ways to chain the Zoroark attacks in those matchups where you just need to keep
Yeah,
firing off.
Darmanitan is just broken.
Yeah,
Because I played.
sounds good.
Yeah, I played Enzork to a cup like a couple weeks ago, got top 4 with it, and the deck felt kind of insane. I was like, oh, shoot, this deck just farms Dragapult and Gardevoir like no tomorrow. And Gholdengo is pretty decent too. It's not a bad matchup either. This deck is definitely one that I wasn't surprised to see do well. Was surprised to see players like Lucas playing it, but I'm not surprised to see the deck have a ASIM cut for sure. I think this deck is really good, and I don't think it's going to be like super popular or anything because it is hard to play, and I guess people aren't really attracted to the idea of it because it is a little bit more like tactical, but it's cool. I think the deck does have a place in the meta right now, just because it's so good against like 2 of the best decks.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk. Let's stop our Milwaukee conversation and shift our focus towards Portland a little bit. I mean, we talked about Raging Bolt going up in popularity. What else is good in the meta for Portland? I mean, if you were going to Portland right now, what would you sleeve out based on the meta?
Right now I would consider Gholdengo again, or I would play Joltik Box.
How about you, Maddox? What do you think?
Yeah, I think decks have to respect the Raging Bolts and Joltik boxes being around. So I think like Dragapult should be going like faster builds, things like Rare Candy, maybe going back to Arvids, things like that, maybe not even playing Unfair Stand. And it's not like that. I do think, again, Gholdengo Enjoyer. I mean, like, if it was tomorrow, of course, I'd sleeve it up because the deck I'm most comfortable with. But, I do think a deck like an Enzorark, if they're able to go and, capitalize and build that board could be good. The EV box deck is pretty solid. I think as well, like, but Gholdengo again, Joltik box and Raging Ball I think will be a little less well positioned because of because them being faster decks. If people will be ready for that, but I can also see that maybe he's up a couple next tournaments. I think like Utrecht. There's a few other ones. I think maybe Santiago is before. There's a few tournaments
Melbourne's
that maybe
coming out too, right?
Melbourne, yeah. So maybe a few of those tournaments, scare off any turbo hate or Gholdengo hate. If Gholdengo continues to underperform, could be a good call.
You just put Rapska in your deck, and you'll beat Bolt after that.
Yeah, for sure.
Dustin or Rapska.
Dustin or Rapska. Yep, exactly. Who cares about that? Well, I think the thing is, if we're gonna see more Dragapult or more Raging Bolt and Joltik box, I think decks like Enzork get a bit worse because that deck does not have good matchup into either of those 2 decks. So
very bad.
Probably we're gonna see the meta shift a little bit towards these more like aggressive style decks. Mainly like the point is like, can your deck aggressively beat down Guardian Dragapult consistently is the question. And I think that's what Jolting and Raging Bolt probably do the best right now out of any deck in the format, other than maybe Gholdengo. But even Gholdengo like has to play a bit differently than those decks in those matchups. Not just like put a Gholdengo in play and just kill Badu and call it a day. You actually have to like set up your board first and play very like cautiously with how you're approaching the matchup. Or like Raging Bolt and Jolted Box, you just ooga booga, just do attacks as fast as possible and start to make it so they just don't have enough time to set up their board. Or by the time they do, you've taken a big enough lead where you can't lose.
Yeah. I was trying to see if there was any. I was trying to see if there was any like out Lily's Clefairy deck with the Teal Mask Overpawn. I feel like that deck's kind of good right now.
It's cool. It might be better with Raging Bolt being more popular.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With Raging Bolt being more popular, and even Joltik Box too.
I think the hard part is like the top players are still going to play Dragapult and Gardevoir. I mean, we might see a few.
Yeah.
Get over the pressure like Crispin Labella does. We'll talk about that with him next.
Speaking of Crispin Labella,
yeah, exactly.
The interview coming up.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's jump right into that interview next. We're start wrapping up, getting towards that interview. So, next up is Crispin Labella talking about all things Raging Bolt. So stick around for that interview. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Beach Court Podcast. We're here with the most recent champion of the Milwaukee Regional Championships last weekend. Crispin Labella has joined us. He took down the tournament with Raging Bolt, a deck that a lot of players felt as a fraud coming in or not really a good play. And Crispin chose the deck and took the deck all the way to finals and, beat some awesome players along the way. So we're going to hear from Crispin and his whole story. But Crispin, first off, is quick intro. How you feeling, man? Like, when did you get home? How's your bank account, feeling? I know it's not there yet, but like, how you feeling? Like it's coming? What's your thoughts and emotions?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pretty good. I got back last night. Right now my bank account is in the trenches. So I needed this.
Yeah.
But yeah, but definitely feeling good after this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, right. You've won regionals a few times as a senior. I'm sure as a master, it's a little different. I know you were in a finals before, you made top cut plenty of times. How does like finally punching that like masters regional win feel?
Right, it felt really good. It did feel really good. It felt like I was like my past couple of seasons as a master was like all working towards something, and like it was this point. So it definitely feels really good to like see all this like hard work paying off.
Did you have any like nerves going into finals? Like, kind of trying to get that monkey off your back in masters?
Oh yeah,
What,
for
what
sure.
were your, what
Like
were you experiencing like when you walked up on stage in finals?
I was very nervous. Yeah, like that finals match was very important, meant like a lot to me. So I was just like I don't know if like you could tell in the like if you were watching, but I was like very nervous. I was like shaking up there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you look calm. You did good.
Thank
Look
you.
Yeah.
calm.
Yeah,
So let's
we'll
get a
get
little bit of your backstory. Go ahead, Max. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get a lot into finals and all that other stuff. Well, a quick background for folks who you don't know, might know Christian Labella is the regional champion, but knew you a little better as a person. Tell us about where you're from, how long you've been playing, and what's your favorite Pokemon.
Okay, I'm from Canada, like around the Toronto area. Um, how I got
How long
into
you been playing?
Pokemon?
How long you been playing?
Yeah.
How long you been
Oh, I've
playing?
been
Sorry. Yeah.
playing like, competitively. I think I started 2018 season, like after 2018 Worlds is when I
About
started
7 years.
playing.
And I was as a
Yes.
senior.
Around there. Yeah, I started as a senior, didn't play juniors. The way I like learned how to play was in my elementary school. Pokemon cards are like a really popular thing. Not playing the game, but like turning them and like having them. So like I like had a decent amount. I was like curious and I wanted to know if there was like a way to play the game, like if there's a game with it. And eventually that led to like me going to a card shop and then learning how to play it. And it like all kind of like snowballed from there.
That's like the
Um,
story, man. That's like what we want, right?
yeah.
That's how you're supposed to get in the game. What's like give us like one of those like weird stories where you're like, man, I had this like first edition Charizard that I bent and I had no clue. Like, did you have any of those stories where like you had some cards in elementary or like some fake cards that, oh my God, this isn't real? Did you have any of those like kind of stories when you were in elementary and middle school?
Yeah, I had a pretty bad one where it was like, Darkrai EX and Mewtwo EX, and like that
Yeah.
was like a really big deck, right? I
Mhm.
had both of those cards, like both those, and like a Shaman EX, but like not like setup Shaman, just like a different Shaman EX. I like one of my friends had this mighty Puccina. It was Puccina, like the little dog one,
Yeah.
but like it was a fake one, and it had 1,000 HP. But I didn't know. Like I was like 7, and I saw that. I'm like, this guy's broken. He has so much HP. I'll give you all of my EXs for this one card. And then like, I came home and I was showing my dad like, look what I got. I traded all my things for this 1,000 HP guy, and he's like, it was fake. And I was like, I was so sad. So that was probably like the most notable one. But yeah.
They got you. They got you good.
Well,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. Learn Christian's lesson, everybody. And hopefully you won't have to go win a regional to go buy back your old EXs. So
Yeah. Yeah. So you said you got into Pokemon through your elementary school. So what helped you kind of like be successful as a senior, and like what was that transition into being a master? What really kind of put you over the top? You feel like because you had some success as a senior, a little different ranks. Once you get to master. So kind of talk to the people about like what that process was like coming from a senior to a master.
Yeah. So in seniors, my first season my first season, I was not good at all. Like I was pretty bad. Just getting pretty low placements even for a senior. But then like I got a coach in my area who like kind of taught me like how to sequence and like all that, like deck building and all that. Like really helped me with that. So that really like helped me be more successful. My next season was way better than my previous one. Um, then um, COVID hit and I aged up during COVID. So that was a big thing. That got me into online testing a lot. Because of like COVID, that's the only thing we could do. There's like no in-person things. So like I was just grinding a lot online. So when I got into Masters, it was the first couple of regionals. I like completely bombed Masters. Like I was doing a lot of testing, but seniors is like less rounds than Masters, and we end earlier. So I was like really not ready with like how long days were gonna be, like in day one as Master. So it was like very mentally draining, and like mentally I just wasn't prepared for that, at least for the first couple events. But then as like more events came, I got used to it. Started playing like more live, and yeah, like I think what really like led me to like see better results was just like grinding like a lot of games, like in testing or just like on the live ladder. So it's probably the best advice I can give. Like just play a lot of games on live. It's very efficient and worth your time.
So like Raging Bolt, I mean, how many games do you think you grinded of that? Again, Milwaukee's your first regional of the rotation. So like, if you had to guess a number,
I'd say on live, like around 100. I'd say
100, and it
Yeah,
was more in
something like
person.
that.
It sounds like.
Sorry.
It sounds like some in person too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In person, not as much as 100, but definitely like up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of top players really, look down on Raging Bolt in this format specifically, and call it a bad deck here and there. How do you like let that weigh on you when you're choosing a deck for a tournament? Obviously you're testing and it feels good, right? And you trust your testing, but like in the back of your mind, you've got these top players saying like it's not good, it's not good, it's not good. So like, how do you like work through that process? What specifically do you like to do to figure out if someone's right or wrong, or what their opinions are and things like that?
Yeah, I usually don't really care what the top players say. Like if I'm playing a deck in testing and it's like a really high win rate compared to like everything else, but that deck is like viewed like pretty poorly from the public, like I don't really care if they say, because like my results are like very reliable to me. So like I just go based on that. I don't really take into consideration what anyone else thinks. Yeah, I just trust like my log and like my games the
Yeah,
most
how do you
out of
like to
everything.
log your games? That's a great question. Some people use apps like Trading Court and other tools that are out there. How do you like to log your games to determine what your win rate is? And
Um,
use data to make decisions.
Yeah, I am very old fashioned. I just have a notebook and a pen, and I just
Love it.
like on ladder games, like played against Gardevoir, win. Yeah, sometimes I go into more detail, like what happened during each game. But most of the time, it's just like Gardevoir, win. Did I brick? No. Did they brick? No. And then like I just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's good because like it's hard to deck select these days, right? I mean, the meta is so wide, So talk about your testing process for Milwaukee specifically. Were you between a couple of decks, or did you always know you were playing Raging Bolt? And how'd you narrow down, into this new format? How'd you narrow down your deck to Raging Bolt?
There's like 2.5 decks I was considering. So like the half deck I was considering was Gardevoir, but then I decided I didn't want to play it after I saw Chow win an event with it. So I knew everyone was going to play it. I just did not want to play Gardevoir Mirror. Then Brent won with his list, and then another guy won with Brent's list. So everyone was just playing Brent Cardi. I'm like, okay, I do not want to be playing Mirror all day. So that was kind of out of the consideration pretty quickly. But the two decks I was mainly considering was Bolt and EV Box. I thought EV Box also had a really good meta spread, and the reason I didn't play the deck was the Gardevoir matchup was not as good as Bolt's Gardevoir matchup, and also like EV Box, at least my list that I was playing, felt like pretty fragile compared to Bolt. Like things can go wrong pretty fast with that deck, and you kind of need a lot more on your first turn than Bolt does. And you also are more vulnerable to Badoo than Raging Bolt is. So I ended up leaning more towards Bolt, and I just decided to like focus on that more. Yeah.
Awesome. Any follow-ups there, Maddox?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's great advice. So, like you're saying, trust your testing, block out the noise from everyone else, and if you think a deck is good, then that deck is good. I guess gotta ask about, you're a big F block enjoyer. I'd say lots of success with Arceus, and Reggie Drago as well. I mean, how did that feel out of rotation? Saying, I can't play these guys anymore. I need to pick up something new. Were you nervous about that, or you just said, hey, I trust myself as a player, and I can, lock in a new deck and test for what's the best?
Yeah, it was pretty weird. Like I was definitely very sad to see them go, mainly because I really like the V-Star mechanic. Like just
Yeah.
like holding your V-Star like late game just felt like so broken, and it's just like really good to do. Now you don't have that anymore, which is pretty sad because I feel like it's very skillful to know like when to use like a V-Star depending on what deck you're playing. So like just not having that option anymore just felt pretty weird. Yeah, definitely sad to see the V stars missing. And like it also like the rotation of the set made you realize like how broken some cards were. Cause like
Right.
heavy ball specifically,
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah, I just felt like all my decks just suck now because I don't have a heavy ball on them. Like it just like it really changes the way you build your decks.
You get
Yeah.
Jewel Seeker for heavy ball, right? Like, that would
Yeah.
unlock so much.
I mean, we got
Um,
redeemable ticket. It's fine.
I don't know. I do want to ask though, just on the V-Star topic, Legacy Star or Starbirth? Which
Oh,
one?
it's
I know you have to pick between your two children, but which
my two
one?
children.
Which one do you remember using more fondly back in the day?
It might be. I think it's because of recency bias, but probably Legacy Star. I just like, bro, two cards from discard is just so broken.
Right. Yeah.
Like Arceus is like good because like you kind of guaranteed set up like every game. Like if you set up with Reggie Drago and you just have Legacy Star like threatening game like at any point, like this is just so broken. You basically
Yeah.
have two ace specs a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two ace specs is just so crazy good.
Yeah.
All right, well let's transition to talk about your list, some of the specifics on your list. You chose to play the Noctowl version of the deck. Some people were kind of like on the boat of like playing the no Noctowl version, it being a little bit better. Did you test the no Noctowl version leading up to this event? And what ultimately just made you, obviously you're an Arceus joiner, so you like getting every two card you want. But what made you kind of like decide, all right, Noctowl is correct.
I didn't test the no Noctowl version at all. I really like the Noctowl version mainly because like with Badoo, just like terrorizing the format right now.
Yeah.
Noctowl is really strong, getting my early game Crispin, so like get the energies flowing and all that.
Right.
It's just like if I'm able to get like 3 energies on a baby bolt turn 2, then I feel like I'm beating most bolts. And with Noctowls, it just allowed me to do that like a lot. I don't really see myself being able to do that with no Noctowls in my deck.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what was the 61st card that you really wanted to find a spot for in your deck list and you couldn't find a spot for?
Yeah, that would be Turo, Professor Turo.
Oh.
I definitely, yeah, I really like that card. Is because if you look at my list, a Sob Trap or like Maractus Trap like is super strong against my deck. I only have Prime Catcher.
Prime
Like,
Catcher.
yeah, if like a deck just went like Genesect, put a tool on it, and Maractus like something on my board,
Yeah.
like I kind of like lose. This is really not good for me. Yeah, and then Turo's just good all around, with Monkey Door, like putting damage and stuff, and what do you call it? Yeah, Dragapult just spraying damage on your board. And also getting pick up and knocked out. Like I really wanted to have a Turo on my list. It was in my list like a week before the event, and I decided I wanted to play Judge instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely miss having a Turo. If I could
Yeah.
play 61 cards, it'd probably beat that.
Turo. Yeah, Turo's a good card, man. But you know what else is a good card? And Maddox knows all about this. He's a Judge Path enjoyer just like you were for a very long time. So what led you to put the Judge in the deck, and what are the best use cases for it? I'm a big Judge enjoyer in Raging Ball. My list, I was just looking at today to see how different it was from you. I'm like 4 cards off from you. I played 2 Judge.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, because like I just wanted to knock down for Judge and like Crispin, whatever I need to do, and like just attack, bro. Like attack Judge like seems really good into the format. So what did you find the best use cases for Judge for you this weekend?
Yeah, so the main matchup where I mainly used Judge in, where Judge was like my main strategy, was Gholdengo. That was like a big one because like a lot of games it's hard to like prize race them because like you gotta put a 2 prize on board most of the time or just open one. So like so you can't really like take the first 2, and that's like how you win the matchup. You take the first 2, and then go 2-2-2. But like it's hard to do that if you open a 2 prize because if you try to like assault landing, kill them, like they have probably like a million cards in their hand, and they're gonna go like E-Search Pro, Counter Catcher. So like with the Judge, it just allowed me to like Judge, Air Zero, Phantom attack, and they can't Evo, get Gholdengos in play preemptively, or else instead of Judge, I just like Prime Catcher, take first two. So like with a Judge, it makes them hit Gholdengo EX, like Energy Surge Pro, Counter Catcher, Auto T-Prizer. That's like 3 cards already out of the 4 cards they need. And they don't have like any draw on play. The one downside to this is like with the Pango version, they could Evo double Dracaloak and have that, but they do need like a lot on their first turn, like Poffin for 2 Droopies, assuming they have a bench, like another bench Gimme Goal down, and then Evo to that. But like even with the 2 Droopies, I'd say it's like still not that likely they hit it at least 2 out of 3 games. So yeah, Judge basically like made the Gholdengo matchup like really favored in my opinion. That was the main thing. Also, just like the decks in general where I didn't feel like I had a great matchup, like EV Box specifically, like EV Box does need like a lot to like set up on turn 2, and like that's like my worst matchup, I think, EV Box. So like main strand there, same thing, like put Stadium down, attack with Phantom, Judge them. They need like a lot. They don't have a Terra in play on the bench already, or else I just prime that and take the first 2. So they need to draw a Terra Pokemon, like a Noctowl, and like all that stuff to like function. And it's really hard for them to do that if I'm judging them early. So that was basically like the main thought process behind playing Judging, as well as like it's just really effective into like pretty much every deck turn 2 this format. Yeah,
makes sense.
Last tech inclusion, I think the Jamming Tower, the notable tech inclusion. It was a fortunate top deck for you during finals, right when you needed it.
Yes,
But
yes,
I know that was probably your intended use for it. But what was your intended use for it? Was it mainly there for Gardevoir hate? Was it for dealing with those luxurious capes? Tell us a little about what kept that inclusion in the list.
yeah. Jamming
You
Tower
play
is
your own
like one of
Bravery
those
Charm as well. Sorry, yeah. I also wanted to ask because you played a Bravery Charm with it as well.
Yeah, Jamming Tower is just like a good card in general. Yeah, Luxurious Escape. So I can still snipe the Baby Bolts or the Dracaloaks. Yeah. There, yeah, that was one application. The other one was Guardy. Like if they misstep and put like a lot of damage on their Drifloon or Skirmtail and charm it. Yeah, Jamming Tower free prize. But the main reason was so that I can just bump Air to 0 and remove guys off my board. Like if they're setting up like a 3 prize turn per game next turn, I can just Jamming Tower, get the guys off my board. Yeah, it's mainly for like removing guys off my board. That's why like I didn't have Tour on my deck overall, because like I thought that I could just like I felt like I could just do that with my Jamming Tower, because like Air Zero is always going to be in play. So it's like basically discard my Hoot, or not my Hoots, my Noctowls, like my Squawk 5 to put that down, discard all of those Pokemon, and yeah, the other card, Bravery Charm, that was mainly for Dragapult. So the 3 prize turn, they put like 10 on Fanartem, or like they have Hawlucha in hand to like put 10 on Fanartem or Hoot, just charm that, prevent that from happening, so they win the game. Same like with the Monkey, so they can like double Monkey or triple Monkey, like Fanartem or something, just charm that, prevents that. It's also just good into like decks with Blood Moon. I can just charm a Bolt and Blood Moon can't one-shot it, so they need to have Gust with that. So it's just like a good card all around.
Yeah, I really like your list. I mean, it's kind of operates like these Pidgeot quick search decks in a way, right?
Yeah.
Maddox and I have both said this a couple of times that Bolt's just one of those decks that you can put like 10 bad cards in it and it's a really good deck still, because like it has that inherent strength of just being able to one shot anything in the format. So yeah, really like your list. Well done. Congratulations on your run. Let's kind of transition, to the highlights of your tournament. And, I think if anyone looks at, Limitless Labs or Pokédata, wherever they look at the match results, they're like, holy crap, you beat one of the best Gardevoir players in Brent Tonneson on the planet twice. Talk us through like that matchup specifically. How do you navigate the matchup, and how were you able to beat one of the best Gardevoir players on the planet twice?
Yeah, that matchup is very scary. That was like the matchup I was scared of going to the tournament, because I didn't expect a lot of Brent Guardy, like playing the exact 60. That's probably like the only thing I had on it. Like I know the exact 60 because like I don't think a lot of people are going to change a card from that list. So just having access to like what my opponent can do in their turn is very strong. Yeah, so the Guardy matchup basically essentially comes down to how fast they can get like Candy Guardian play. So basically, if I'm able to take the first two, I feel like I'm in a decent position. If I can take the first three without Kenny Gardy, I feel like I am winning that game like 100% of the time. But overall, during the tournament, I actually didn't know whether it was correct to like opt first or second into Brent Gardy. Like the main thing about going first is I can get an attachment on my baby bolt, then turn to, do 90 to like snipe routes. But in testing, I found that Brent Gardy going first doesn't do like anything at all. So that was the other consideration. I ended up choosing first into Brent Gardy against like people who were playing Brent Gardy just so I can get attachment. But when I hit Brent playing Brent Gardy, I ended up choosing second because like like they don't really do much turn one, so I have a chance to donk them as well as you saw on my stream game against Brent game 3. Just having that extra like win con to like donk them is just really strong, and like I don't know, I feel like if I let Brent play the game, it is just not good. I should just choose second, hope he doesn't play the game, I can just donk him. Also, yeah, if you choose second and you open your judge and judge them before they can do anything, that is also like very good. So yeah.
Just get fan run them down, judge, and then fan call afterwards, and they're just scrambling.
Yeah, exactly. I think it is correct overall to choose second, though. I think second is just like they just don't do anything going first a lot of the time. So, yeah.
Awesome. I know we want to dive into like your top 4 and finals matches on stream against Dragapult and some of that matchup. But before that, were there any other notable matches from the Swiss rounds that you want to highlight? Right, you were a number 1 seed going in, record of 10-02. Any highlights of those matches to get there, or it was just I just did Raging Bull things?
Yeah, my round 1, very interesting game. I
was hoping it was a no-show. Oh, well, was it no-show?
It was a no-show.
Okay, because I saw the list and I'm like, bro, that would have been an interesting match.
Yeah. So that was,
yeah. So for those that haven't done their homework yet, the list had. Have you seen the list yet on Labs? By the way, Christian.
Yeah, I actually just saw it today.
Yeah. So Andrew Nunez submitted a list with it has Zorark, 4-1 Guardy line, 4 Klefkis, a 1-1 Dragapult, 1 Gouging Fire, 1 Drifloon, an E-Switch, 4 Crispin, 4 Iota, 4 Research, 4 Boss. So like I was looking at this and I was like, I mean, also, this would have been fun to play against.
Yeah, also look at the Zoro.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even End Zoro. I didn't notice that. Well, Andrew was maybe cooked a little too much in the kitchen, slept in a little bit, gave you a good start to the day. Yeah. That's too funny. So
yeah. But for an actual game, I hit Ian playing his EV box deck, and this is what I think is my worst matchup in the field. But I was able to win that because of Judge. They just need a lot of pieces, on their turn 2. So I judged them. I can force them to like get all that, and like it's the same thing with Brent. Like Ian is a really good player. Hopefully I can judge them and they don't get to play the game. So it just yeah, I got very lucky in that set, but yeah, just further proving that Judge is a really good inclusion in this list.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, mine has 2. Would you ever consider like a second copy of Judge in the list?
I don't, probably not. There's like, I'd probably put Churro in first
Churro,
and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, if you like prize Judge, like it's just unlucky, you just go a different route. But like,
yeah,
you do have Palpad if you like want to like judge twice throughout the game.
Yeah.
But like, I probably wouldn't put a second Judge in. I think one like serves its purpose.
Just didn't know how strong it was. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I really want it,
Yeah.
We had Arceus V-Star back in the list. We'd playing a lot more Judge, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into the top 4, right? So your top 4 in finals matches on stream, both against Dragapult, and both against both different variants, right? Dusknoir and the straight Dragapult. So we kind of want your insight into, how does that matchup go? And how did you expect it to go, and how did it play out on stream?
Yeah. So out of the both lists, the Dusknoir version is more scary for my deck. It's definitely more scary, mainly because it plays candies, something that Makani's version didn't play. So like no candy version just made Baby Bolt even stronger. Just like sniping those Dracapults, it's just like really strong. I don't think either of us played Crispin, so like it does the same thing, like sniping one with energy, so nothing really changes there. However, like the Dusknoir version, they can just set up like 3 prize, 4 prize turns with that. Also, they can like candy Dusknoir and just Dusknoir my active bolt to like deal with that, which is pretty scary. That's why that matchup is like a lot more sketch compared to Makani's version. Makani's version I feel like is like pretty favorite for my deck. This one's closer to like 55-45 in my favor, maybe like 60-40. Yeah, so on the stream games, game 1 against my top 4 match, I don't, yeah, if I remember correctly, like I was not able to like get like Era Zero and my Mew like fed all my support guys down, so I was just super vulnerable to like a late game Iono, and that's what happened. I got Iono'd late game and I just lost because of that. But then games 2 and 3, my opponent had like very rough starts, and like Baby Bolt was just able to capitalize on that. But yeah, I do feel like with the Dusknoir version it is definitely like more inconsistent than the other version. That's why like people opt for the other version. So like it is definitely expected to happen like at least one of the games, I'd say. But I got very lucky that it happened like 2 games.
So let's talk about game 3 a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you like watched back Azul's chat at all by chance?
I have not.
So like the whole chat was all like, okay, Baby Bolt's prize. What do we do? And everyone was like, we're attacking with Fez. We're attacking with Fez. Like attack with Fez has to be the route here. And so like the first turn you didn't go for it, but then like after he continued to break it, he attached to Fez. We saw you go for it.
Yeah.
Was it in your plan to go that route, or did him attaching kind of like see that and kind of like, did you ever attack with Fez this tournament?
I did attack with Fez. Fez was like I had 2 Baby Bolts in my list, like one of my previous lists for this deck. But then my friend pointed out to me that like, well, he had 2 Baby Bolts. You can just attach the Fez and be priced for Bolt, and it's like the same thing. So like that was definitely a consideration going through my head to like get the Fez set up early. But if I'm remembering correctly, game 3, my opponent did not get like a droopy down. So,
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
it's just like no rush for me to do that right there.
Yeah.
I think the other stadium down, so like you're able to do fan bottom pressure just fine.
Yeah. I did open like a stadium in my hand, I think. Yeah, so I was just committed with that.
And then we saw Julio research away like 4 energies on like turn 4 or whatever, and at that point, you know, it's just like, all right.
He just wasn't able to do anything that game after that.
Yeah, we're pretty sure he was like out of energy at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Which was just like, unfortunate.
Yeah, I saw him Vessel get no energy and didn't have 2 energies on that Dragapult to attack. So I'm like, oh, I'm guessing we're just going all in with Blood Moon then.
Yeah. Yeah, so like that's Dragapult Dusknoir. Talk us through the slow Dragapult matchup. Is it just like strictly just Baby Bolt or Fez, whatever's available, and then figure out the last 4 prizes from there?
Yeah, it is basically just that. Like that deck doesn't play Candy, doesn't play Crispin. They're not doing like a whole lot early game. Just snipe a Baby Bolt, but then like make sure like you like try to get like Air Zero down as early as you can, Mew Fez, all that, because like they play Unfair Stamp, they play like 4 I don't know. You're gonna get disrupted. Make sure you just have like you can get out of it. If you can bench Latias too, very important. They're gonna try to countercatch your Bidoof. Make sure they can prevent like at least 1 turn from Baby Bolt. So they can try to like evolve to Dragapult. But yeah, the matchup is pretty favored. A lot of the time you're able to like just like get your board to like a really like solid position where like even if they stamp you like early, like you're gonna draw out of it. Like if you have Latias down and all basics and you have 3 energies on your active bolt, like a stamp doesn't do anything. They can't countercatch or anything or like to trap. Yeah, it's just like you're just kind of running away there for like the first 3 turns, and then you just got to make sure your board is like set enough to like take the last 3 after that, which is not unreasonable to do. It's very, very simple. Yeah.
Professor Sada, Falling Thunder, attack, So
yeah.
Any other highlights from your finals match, or maybe what was that feeling right afterwards, or maybe as you see the way the last game was going and you say, hey, I think I know where this is going, right? How was that what were you kind of feeling on that moment?
Yeah, I was like, it's actually like really scary when like I have a lead that big in like game, like in the match, like I was on like match point, the finals match. I was like getting really far ahead. I was like in my head, like I was just thinking to myself, like, how can I lose this game? I'm so far ahead. I cannot throw away this opportunity. Like, how can I lose? It was like really stressful. So I was just like trying to take everything slowly and all that. Yeah, like he ended up winning. Like it still hasn't hit me, but it did feel really good. But like just going through my head, it's like, how can I lose this game? What actions can I take to potentially lose this game? Like, what are like, like how do I not mess up? How do I not throw away this opportunity? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like the only way you could have lost that game would be like if you got like DQ'd or got like two double prize penalties. Like it was pretty rough, for
you like
Wakani there.
Jewel Seeker and shuffle your discard pile into your deck. Actually, that's reversible because we're on stream. I don't even know if that would like. Well, good stuff. I'm glad you didn't, misplay. Glad you locked in the win.
Yes, sir.
And it pledged your ticket to the World Championships. I think you're already in a pretty good spot, anyways. But nice to have that nice auto invite. Now, whether you like it or not, you're now the de facto Raging Bolt expert on everything. Always, until someone else does better than you with it. But for Raging Bolt for right now, what are your thoughts on moving forward? If you're going to Portland, maybe you are going to Portland. Would you think Raging Bolt's the play, or as you head into the rest of this format, how do you think decks should adjust to deal with Raging Bolt, or how Raging Bolt should adjust to deal with that?
Yeah, I'm not going to Portland, but my friends who are going to Portland, I told them to play that they should start testing and they should play EV Box, because like as I said, EV Box has a pretty favorable Bolt matchup, and I think the rest of the matchup spread for that deck is pretty strong. So I actually probably wouldn't play Bolt to the next event, but I do think Bolt is still a good play. It's like, but is like gonna get respected, like definitely way more than it was respected at Milwaukee. I feel like a lot of lists, I can definitely see a lot of lists putting in like Maractus in their deck, like just a one of, like they saw like my only one switch cards. I'm like, okay, maybe to slow down this baby Bolt, I can like counter catcher Maractus instead of Badoo Lock, and that can be like more, like that can slow me down more than Badoo. I can definitely see a lot of Dragapult decks doing that. I don't. Yeah, I can also Joltik Box. That was the big thing. I think that deck's gonna like lower in play. Like a lot of the other rogue decks. I think so, because like your Bolt matchup sucks.
Yeah,
true.
It's bad.
Yeah, I think that's definitely gonna go down in play, because I don't even know how good like your other matchups are. I don't think your Guardian matchup's that good either. I think all your matchups are bad with Joltik Box. I don't know how that's a deck.
I mean, it just beats Dragapult. That's really the like main reason why, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But I think, I do think that will go down in play. I think Zork will probably also go down in play.
Yeah.
Like all those like other like counter decks would go down in play. I think Dragapult will still remain the most popular deck. It's kind of hard for that to fall off. That deck is pretty broken.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how popular Bolt will be. Like I can see it jumping to the number 2 spot. Definitely won't surpass Dragapult, but I think Bolt's a fine play for next format. I just think next tournament. I think probably like something like EV Box will like do really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, bold believers, watch out for EV Box. But other than that, Crispin Labella still believes in you. Sleeve it up. Maybe play a Turo if you're worried about those Maractus. But sounds like it's good play. And again, Crispin went on a fantastic run with it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So where we're gonna see you next? NAIC?
Yeah, I'm doing an NAIC.
Okay, so we'll see you at NAIC. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're excited. We'll have a new format then, right? New I think new
The
set
Destin
comes
Rivals.
out.
Yep.
Destin Rivals comes out.
Yeah.
And some Mewtwo. But yeah, before we head out, Christian, thanks for joining us. You got any shout outs or thank yous you wanna send out before we let you go?
Yeah. I'm gonna shout out my sponsor, Endgame Sleeves. They are great sleeves. Please check them out. I also want to shout out, everyone who like supported me, everyone who all my friends and family, everyone who even just said like congrats to me this weekend, like made my weekend. Thank you so much. You guys mean so much to me. Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, thanks for coming on the Beach Court Podcast. But right now we're going to get back to the episode, and so stay tuned. All right, that was Crispin Labella talking all things Raging Bull. Hope you really enjoyed that interview. So welcome back to the podcast. Before we get into Crispin's Corner, I want to thank Nakama Anime Cafe for the continued support of this podcast. They got a new gaming shop coming up soon, so stay tuned for more details. Also, League Cup this weekend locally on May 10th at Nakama Anime Cafe. So come on out. Try to win your In-Zor champion map this weekend. Get some championship points. It's coming down to it. We'll talk all things championship points next week on this episode. Give you some breakdown on the world's data. But Maddox, why don't you lead us in Crispin's Corner and tell us who was cooking in Milwaukee?
Let's do it.
Of course. So anyways, as a reminder, how we tackle things here down in Crispin's Corner is we'll randomly look at a couple of lists that did not make day 2, give them some extra credit. We're utilizing Arcanine publishing all their lists and the new Limitless Labs to be able to go and detail these. So, and also while we have the Rogue Deck Master himself, LDF here, wanted his take on maybe who's the spiciest cooks in the kitchen this weekend for Milwaukee. So first off, need to give a little celeb shout to our own Eric Ridgway, who sleeved up a little bit of a spicy pick versus another friend of the pod, Nathan Stratford, who actually hit a friend of the pod, our friend Chris. So let's battle some of their decks real quick. So Eric, of course, sleeving up none other than Miraidon EX. I think the theme deck version of Miraidon, we see a the 4 Iron Hands, 4 Miraidon, max consistency, 4 generators, and 20 energy. Very consistently hitting those generators. But Nathan does have a tricky deck for us. Here we have the Cast Form Toolbox. Cast Form, of course, with a Singe attack, 1 fire energy can burn, and the Combuskin to support it in the hand along with 55 energy. So LDF, I mean, you're the Rogue Deck Master. I mean, again, Miraidon isn't quite proven in this format, and Nathan Stratford has cooked up something here fierce. I mean, who do you think has this one?
I gotta give it to Nathan, bro. I don't know, man. Eric, your deck is cooked, bro. Your start hand is gonna be 6 lane energy, and then you're just gonna get farmed, bro. I don't know.
I mean, he opens like the Cast Form, gets the burn off like every time.
Yeah.
Eric, what do you think of me? What do you have to respond?
Yeah, I mean, if I just open Lone Magnemite, I'm just, I'm boned for sure. If it's Lone Magnemite 7 energy or 6 energies, I'm hurting. But
I mean, he's came when you turn 2 and we Sunny Assist. I mean, like because he plays 50 HP Magnemite.
Yeah, the Sunny Assist is scary, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, but before he KOs me, I'm gonna be KOing myself and putting 4 energy onto my Iron Hands and amping that thing very much and saying, "Have a nice day, bud. Let's move on."
I don't know, man. I think Nathan's got you cooked, bro.
It's kind of funny here, Max, before we go on, like, there wasn't many people in the tournament that did play actual, like, straight Miraidon, because everyone's calling Jolted Box Miraidon, but real quick shout out to Anthony Bruno, one of my homies, actually did play Miraidon. We were actually cooking on an actual Miraidon list, and he ended up going 5-3, just, missing out on day 2.
Just shy, yeah.
We were cooking up this list, and I think, like, just Miraidon is still very good. Obviously, Iron Hands is good, Pikachu is good, but, like, just amping you very much as quick as possible. And in this list, like, we were very tech to beat Gholdengo, right? If you put the, a tool on the Genesect and shove Iron Thorns in the active, they're having a bad time. They're having a real bad time. And he did beat a Gholdengo player using that strategy. So congrats to Anthony Bruno for going 5-3 with this list. I think straight Miraidon is being slept on a little bit. I said this last week on the pod. My counter peers maybe put him in D tier, but Anthony Bruno showed us up. You got 5-3.
It's actually funny. I feel bad, bro. He's running at 2 Charizard decks.
Well,
yeah, he hit 2 Charizards, bro.
Well, I was next to him. We were both 4-0, and then he hit Jackson Ford, who was next to me, and he was playing Jackson Ford, of course, playing Dragapult Zards. So
yeah, Jackson was telling me about that. I was talking to him.
And he hit John Roberts, right, who top 32 Charizard list. So unfortunately, like, hit a pretty good gauntlet of players, with the spicy pick. So shout out to Anthony. But let's get back, highlight some other cooks that are in the kitchen. We're going to generate a few numbers here real quick. We have 1486 with a Gardevoir versus 427. Okay, so just because we see some difference of placements here doesn't necessarily mean that they might be doing better or not. Let's see. Ooh, we have a Dragapult Charizard versus Gardevoir. So listen, I think if you're a Dragapult Charizard player, like, this is why you play Dragapult Charizard. You're trying to hit a Gardevoir,
the ticket,
trying to cook him up. Oh wait, but we got some spice here.
Yo, the
yeah,
ticket.
again, some notable pieces, the Gardevoir list player, including a Tatsugiri, but also the redeemable ticket, played 3 Drifloons and 4 Bravery Charms, plus double Stadium.
Damn.
So really committing heavy to the Bravery Charms and Drifloon being an attacker. They play the Brilliant Blender build along with 9 Psychic Energy, so plenty of energies, as well as Arvins to go with that Brilliant Blender and the 2 Rare Candy. 2 TM Evo along with the Badoo, so plenty of options going first of what to do versus a Dragapult Charizard. I think a real big hybrid list here did choose the Sparkling Crystal as the A-Spec of choice, make it easier to attack the Dragapult or the Charizard. But also included Genesect, shut off the A-Specs, a luxurious cape, help protect your Bench Cloaks, or Bench Charmeleon perhaps, and double Crispin, only 3 Arvin, but still the double Badoo and the Halucha. So, all right, there's a lot to unpack here, guys. What do you like?
I'm
go
gonna give this to the Pulsar because I think that Pulsar is really cool, and I like the idea of playing Monkey and Genesect. I actually was looking at a Pulsar myself for Milwaukee, and my draft did play Genesect and Monkey Dory in it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, just like the Monkey Dory is really strong. The issue I see in this matchup is Badoo being strong on Dragapult's side early. But if you put the Badoo in play, you got the 1 cape, you got to cape it. And if you cape it, we can take 2 prizes on the Badoo, which isn't very good. But if you don't cape it, we got Monkey Dory on the right. We've got Town Store. We got 4 Arvin. Any game this Gardevoir deck on the left goes second. I think they probably are going to cook this Charizard deck pretty easily.
Yeah.
With 4 Charms, Town Store, 4 Arvins, 2 Evos, Brilliant Blender, 9 Psychic. I mean, we got some max consistency over here on the right, with this player. So I think I have to give it to Gardevoir on the right because the redeemable ticket, it's just good, right? You prize 2 Gardevoir, that's fine. You go and get whatever you need out of the deck, and then you just play the ticket, and your Gardevoir's back in the deck. So you can't lose the game if your Gardevoir's a premise.
True. Yeah. I like it. Ticket's definitely underrated.
Yeah, I do have to say, I mean, like, the Gardevoir list, they've been favoring, like, the Night Stretcher a lot, like a 4-copy Night Stretcher. The Gardevoir player here, again, really only choosing, and Andrew Banwell here, only choosing, like, the 1 Super Rod as a recovery option, but again, with the 3 Drifloons, like, you can keep chaining those attacks, so. And also, really didn't want to prize anything. Redeemable ticket, lots of respect for that.
Yeah, a lot of people, like, have been like, oh, I lost because I prized both Guardy. I'm like, oh, true.
Yeah. To Alexis here, the Dragapult Charizard, I do think it's a spicy play. Good deck. I'm a little worried about the consistency because there's a little maybe too many options here, but I mean, if you're able to get set up aboard like Dragapult Charizard, Fez, Genesect down, Monkey, like, I don't know if you can ever lose.
Yeah, aggressive Phantom Dives aren't bad either, because then you can put damage on the board for Charizard, and then Charizard's math gets fixed a little bit for Burning Darkness, which is nice. Yeah, cool. I like the Monkey and Genesect in the deck. That's what I would have probably played if I played Bullseye this weekend.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, was that a split decision, or did we?
Yeah, I think we're split.
We are. Oh my goodness.
Money match, LDF. Stream it.
We gotta do it. Gotta do it.
I don't know how that money match is going, but hope y'all have some fun with that. Let's move on to the next.
We can put an air fryer on it.
Oh my goodness! I'll get into that. Not enough time in the pod for that. So here we have 913 versus 1494. So we're actually right down the street here. 1494. Another Gardevoir.
Oh my goodness! So much Guardy.
Well, we kind of expect that. What does it say? 913
versus.
Joltik Box.
Joltik Box. Okay.
This is the matchup they don't want you to know about. We have Stefan versus Alec.
Oh, the Mad is on.
Oh, it's a spicy list.
Oh, he's got some options here.
Oh, he's got some spice in there.
Right.
Yeah.
The Unfair Stamp and another Brilliant Blender Guardy. All right, a lot to unpack here. Again, Stefan here with the Joltik Box, but not your mama's average Joltik Box. It includes the 1/1 Magneton as extra ways to accelerate that energy. Honestly, I like that as a little late game option without having to use Jolting Charge.
I hate it, yeah.
Included the Penny as a switch option. Other than that, pretty good consistency. No Prime Catcher, though. Instead, include the Unfair Stamp as the A-Spec choice. Versus Alec on the right with Gardevoir. Again, here, is this literally just a Brent build? A little different than that. Did include the Mew.
Yeah, it's got the Blender. He's got Blender, too.
He's got Blender, yeah. Arvin, 2 Arvin with the Blender. The Mew EX did play a Turo and a Boss. A lot of Gardevoirs we cut in Boss. I'm glad to see a Boss back in the list, but still 4 Night Stretcher, double Artisan, really respecting the Jamming Tower, and the 3 Monkeys, and just your normal suite of attackers. So,
hear me out. We shove Iron Thorns. What do they do?
True.
Oh, wait, Iron Thorns in Stefan's box, too. Uh-oh.
That's pretty bad. Yeah, I think Stefan's got Alec cooked.
Yeah, no Fluttermane, no Klefki.
We just go solo Iron Thorns. What do they do?
Yep, that's fair. Just
Yeah,
kind
you
of
actually have
just
to
farms.
penny. You can pull if you open a Miraidon, you can just hand him in and out Iron
You can
Thorns.
loan
Penny.
Thorns board state them. Yo, that's crazy.
Uh,
Broken deck.
All right, I got Jolted Box. Give me Jolted Box on this one. Cooking. We got the Magneton. We got the consistency. We can do Iron Hands, 3 times if we need to. So give me the Jolted Box.
I'm trying to figure out what the cuts are. So like, how did you squeeze a Magneton plus an Iron Thorns plus a penny? Like, but hey, more power to him.
What's the energy
Wait, and you have a counter
count?
catcher.
There's less Pokegear, 1 Pokegear, 1 Ultra Ball was cut. Yeah, I guess a grass and a grass energy was cut.
Yeah, hey.
That's not bad.
Much, honestly.
Yeah. Jolting Box has flexibility, I think, to like squeeze in tech cards.
That is true. There's a lot you can do with it.
Yeah.
All right, our next matchup, number 444.
Lucky number 444. Let's go.
Hal Johnston with
Terrabox.
Terrabox. All right.
Versus
All right.
896. Here we have
Curdy, probably.
Oh, Frostlass.
Frostlass. Yo, let's go.
Okay,
Let's go.
all right.
All right, we got Hal Johnston with the Terrabox versus Blake with Frostlass Monkey Dory.
All
All right.
We got Terra. We got Turo. We don't have any switch. That's a problem.
Yeah. We have Blake did include the Maractus in the list as well as the Universal Luna.
Yep.
Again, a 3/4 Frostlass line and 3 Badoo. Really just leaning in the power of being able to just Itchy Pollen over and over and over again with your 4 Monkey Dory board. Included like Gravity Gemstone as well, make things trickier for the Badoo. And Terrabox, what do we have over here again? Like Eric said, the rescue board instead of a switch. I think it's a good call for under item lock, but it's not helping against Maractus and only 1 copy of Turo. Here's a question. I mean, like, can Blake get off the ground and get set up before getting Torrential pumped over and over?
That's what I'm saying. It's a weird matchup. I would imagine if Blake can set up a really good board, Terrabox is unfavored, but Hal, all Hal's got to do is just get like a Teal Mask in the active or a Tropicos or, Wellspring and just kind of aggressively just beat down Blake and just don't overbench your Owls if you don't have to.
Don't overbench in general because, like, the first time you Wellspring, the immediate response is going to be Maractus Corner or something.
Yeah, plus unfair stamp, and then you're screwed.
Yeah, so like if you got Latias on board and you've already like got rid of your Turo or you used it once, it's gonna get interesting here. I mean, this is gonna be one of those matches that probably takes the full 50 minutes.
Oh, 100%.
And we're probably only playing one game here. I don't know. I think I'm gonna give it to Frostlass.
I'm gonna give it to Terrabox. The matchup, there's a Turo in the deck. There's like Wellspring. It's I don't know. Like I haven't really tested the matchup, but I would imagine that Terrabox, if played well, probably can just manage a board with like good attackers and just be like whatever. I don't really care about your Frostlass spam. I'll Wellspring you. I'll go boss Wellspring, knock out double Frostlass. Not really too worried about that. And you just set up 2 attackers, it's fine.
LDF, we got a lot of money matches to resolve, man.
No, we do. Honestly, we do.
I think the funny part here is, right, I mean, Hal's going to go first with Terrabox. Going to go Fan Rotom, set up the board, get everything ready to see a Badoo. Okay, let me go extra wide. Let me do all my things ready. Let me get my Latias into play, whatever it is. And then like Blake's like double Buddy Poffin for like another Badoo plus double Snorunt. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, I hit Frostlass. Oh, why did I win that?
Danger.
Yep.
I do think Blake might have a little trouble setting up. Again, like I know some of these decks have played Trolley before.
Yeah.
You're very reliant on like I think finding out Artisan, like get your Monkey Dories out and a few Putty Poffins. But 4 Arvin, 4 Research, 4 Iona. So maybe just get there.
True.
All right, look,
I just noticed Terrabox is playing a Jamming Tower.
Yeah, Jamming Tower's been in the deck recently just because it's really good against Gardevoir and it's good against like Dragapult and stuff, I think, to get rid of the Luxurious Cape.
Right. We got time for one more, Maddox.
All right, last one.
Let's
see. 693 versus 1074. 693. We have a Gholdengo to Dunsparce.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, if I get some cheese, let's go.
Versus 1074, we have another Terrabox.
I'm gonna Pikachu the death out of you. You better.
Oh my god! But this one's got the Galvix in it. Oh, bro, they're cooking.
The Galvantula.
Yep.
Actually, I actually played against the Jolting Box with the Galvantula. And the Gravity Mountain here, not relevant. Oh, Baby Dango though.
Baby Dango's not bad. Yeah. Honestly, you know what? This is a close matchup. I'm gonna say that it's favored for Jolting Box because the Gholdengo Dunsparce deck has no Rocky Helmet or Ventral Punch. So
They got nothing.
I don't think the Joltik Box player can lose if they play really well.
Well, you're forgetting, right? You can do the Petty Grudge strats, but instead of Petty Grudge, you can do the Gnaw strats.
Yo, true, yeah.
Dunsparce. You know, you have some lines in there.
Again, yeah, maybe you're right.
Lines that I would have to go back. They go to the Pikachu, keep a single prize board, going with the Gnaw plus Iono. How are they getting out of that?
Honestly, you know what? There's a world where you can have like the Joltik Box player overbenches 2 prizers, and then you just Dunsparce them for like 60 times. That'd be kind of sick. They put 4 in play, you can start one-shotting their Miraidon in hands with a Dunsparce.
Well, you gotta be careful. They can Iron Hands amp you very much the Dunsparce with the Future Booster. Oh, wait, no, you're weak to fighting.
Yeah, you're weak to fighting, bro. You're chill. Yo, you're chilling. You're chilling.
We're so bad.
Yeah, you're chilling.
I don't have this Gholdengo Copium, but if I'm playing this Gholdengo Dunsparce, I got this one in the bag.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe it's closer than I thought for a Gholdengo. Maybe Joltik Box isn't walking away with this.
It's pretty tough, though.
We got the Gravity Mountain and the EXP share on the left.
Yeah.
EXP share is good. Gravity Mountain, I've seen them playing it. No Power Glass. Power Glass is a pretty big card for the Pikachu to be able to chain those attacks consistently.
Yeah.
Pretty close for sure.
I'll give it a Joltik Box for sure.
All right, fair enough.
I think Joltik Box definitely favored, but I'd win.
I'd win, yeah. Yeah, shout out to everyone for Crispin's Corner. I think that Nathan Stratford was the winner tonight.
Oh, 100%.
For sure.
Yeah, the best deck,
that was
the cast form just broke it.
That was the most innovative deck I've ever seen. So shout out to Nathan. But LDF, shout out to you for joining us on short notice and filling in on the podcast. You got any shout outs you want to do? Any videos upcoming?
Yeah. So thanks for having me on again. Like I said, if you ever want me to hop on the pod, just hit me up. Had a good time. Talk about Milwaukee. Hopefully next time I'm on the pod, another regionals happens, maybe post NEIC. Maybe all 3 of us are in day 2. We can talk about our day 2 run.
I'm not gonna be there, bro.
Oh, you're not gonna be at NEIC? Okay, me and Maddox. So running back.
I got a baby due any day, man.
Oh, true.
LDF and I will make top 8 just so we have the extra content, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yes, true.
I'm gonna be streaming it. That's the plan. I'm gonna be streaming it, so I need you guys to get on stream for me.
All right, bet. I'm down. Yeah, big shout out to the Shuffle Squad as always. Shout out to my second channel. If you want to hear a lot more of an in-depth tournament report about my run at Milwaukee with Pengo, check out my second channel. Got more Rogue deck coming out on the main channel. I'm pretty excited to get back into content. Been kind of like on and off recently since I got back from Atlanta with like content grind, but I'm back on the grind now. It's just I think taking the time off does help me kind of get motivated again. And then I'm really excited for Destined Rivals. Journey Together Loki was a mid set, so I'm happy that Destined Rivals is like gonna actually be way better for content.
Hey, if you can leak real quick a upcoming video, any Rogue decks from Milwaukee that you're excited to put a video out on?
Honestly, no, I haven't really looked into any of the decks yet.
I might need to try Nathan Stratford's then.
Yeah, all right. I'll do a video on Nathan Stratford. I'll title it "Most Broken Deck Ever Printed."
Sounds like you're gonna make Miraidon work, like actual Miraidon.
I actually did a video on Miraidon Pikachu Hands Crystal, with Generator when I was away in Atlanta. So I've tried that already, and I've done a video on Joltik Box. So we'll see.
All right.
I do have a new Joltik Box deck that I am cooking up. I don't think I'm gonna make a video on it because I don't want to leak what it is. I think I'll tell you guys after the recording. But Joltik Box, I think with a secret tech card, can actually be potentially one of the best decks in the format.
All right.
Be looking out for LDF with that deck sometime soon. Maybe winning a regional near you.
Yes, sir.
If I was going to Portland, I would consider playing it. Just saying.
Registration's still open.
Yeah, I'm not going. It's the same week as Destined Rivals. So I gotta make videos.
And stream on the content.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, LDF. That's gonna do it for this week's episode. Till next week, guys. We'll see you around.
Peace.